Is my house haunted, or is it my crazy ex messing with me? This goes back to 2016, but since I'm new to Reddit, I thought I'd post here to see what y'all think, because I still don't know what to think. By 31F, bought my first home back in 2016 on my own as a single young woman. I was so proud and excited, especially after finally leaving the toxic guy I was with the previous 5 years on and off. It was the fresh start I needed. Anyways, I moved in, just me, no roommate, and my ex had never been there. The house was a small 2-bedroom rancher built in the 50s but updated Abbott. It had a dirt crawl space for storage and a huge fenced yard with 3 gates. A metal gate, a small gate to get to the front door, and an old wooden gate to pull into the covered garage type area. I'm a nursing assistant, so I do a lot of night shifts, so after living in the house for a few weeks, I get home from a night shift. It's 6 a.m., starting to get light outside, and I notice there is apples all over my front yard. I was tired, kinda just brushed it off as kids messing around and went to sleep. A few weeks later, I get off another night shift and everything seemed normal as most mornings, so I went to bed. I had a house sitter the weekend prior, as I went on a girls' trip with some friends. So the house sitter had some people over to have drinks, which was totally fine, but they had left cans in my fire pit. When I woke up after sleeping that day, I went to let my dog outside to pee in the backyard, and all the cans as well as burnt chunks of wood were laid in a perfect circle around the outside of my fire pit. This seemed odd, but I just kinda thought it was some neighborhood kids messing around. Another few weeks goes by, and I again get off a night shift. I pull in NY driveway, and my heart sinks to see all my gates wide open. They were all closed and latched when I left. I ended up getting a roommate to ease my mind a little and feel a little safer. So a guy from work was looking for a place, so I offered him a room, and he accepted. He was a big dude, so I felt if it was someone messing with me, they would think twice with him living there. I was wrong. One night I was home alone as my roommate was working night shift. I fell asleep on the couch watching a movie, and I woke up to a missed call from a random number. I Googled the number since I had never seen it before, and it was a number from one of those apps you could download to call or text anonymously from. So I tried calling it back, no answer. Then, seconds later, I get a text saying, "How's the movie?" I ask who this is, and they say, "Who do you think this is?" I ask my roommate if he's messing with me, and he replies from his normal number, "No, why?" So I tell the random number to cut it out. It isn't funny, but they continue to say things to me as if they can see me. I'm super creeped out and run to my window, and close the blinds. They then begin to ask me to come outside to see who it is, and I run to my door and lock it. Then they say it's Corey. I didn't know a Corey. I ignored the text. They eventually stopped, and I waited till my roommate got home so I could sleep. Nothing ever happened again after that, and I still live in this house with my now husband. No explanation for any of it has ever come up. I'm genuinely open and curious to hear everyone's opinion on this. Something just felt off this time, but I was tired after a long shift and told myself not to get freaked out over stupid kids being annoying and went to sleep. That following weekend I had off, and my cousin wanted to go to the movies, so I agreed and she picked me up. When I left, I put my dog in the house, locked the door, and left the porch light on since it would be dark when I got back home. When I got back, I came home to find my dog outside, the door left unlocked, and the porch light turned off. The watch for the light is inside. This time, I was freaked out. I called NY Dad to come check the house for me. I was convinced someone had done this from the inside and that someone lives in my crawl space. But he came and checked, and nothing to be found. Picture this. I'm an around 15 to 16-year-old girl. It's the middle of winter and around 7 p.m. I'm coming down with a mild cold. My parents aren't home, and my sister is off at a school event. So I take this time to take a long bath to try and soothe whatever is in my system. About 10 minutes into my bath, I hear a frank knock at my front door. This doesn't strike me as too odd, as everyone in my family has a tendency to lose everything. I get out of the bath and put on a robe, and I'm about to walk up to the door when something stops me. I'm not sure what, but I get the urge to check in with my parents. I grab my phone and text them something along the lines of, "Hey, are one of you locked out?" The knocking at the door got louder, and my dog, who is crated, barks. My phone rings and my dad responds with nope. I'm still at sister's school event. My dog barking made me nervous. She's not a necessarily quiet dog, but she never barks at my family or I. I decide to just tiptoe out of the bathroom and into my sister's room, which is right next to the front door. I look through her blinds and see a man at my door. My heart drops. This isn't my mom or anyone I know. It's a man wearing all black with ragged hair, a crowbar in his hand, and what looked like a gun in his pocket. He pounds on the door this time. I can see he's using both of his hands to do so. My dog starts going crazy at this point. Once she starts up, I see the man step back and beacon to a car in the front. Another guy jumps out and walks up onto my porch. I decide that's enough. I run over to my dog's crate and let her out. She's not a large dog, but she's a loud one. She starts jumping at the door, barking so much she has to take labored breaths and growling through the crack that reaches to the outside. I hear a faint "oh fuck nah" before I hear a car door slam and the crunching of gravel, a clear sign the car is left. My dad rushed home, and I frantically explained what happened. We searched our front yard and porch to check to see if they left any evidence. The only thing we found? Dents where the man had pounded on the walls. Now to the next story. In early 90s, I went to school in upstate New York. It was my first experience away from home for any length of time. This particular college town was built around a beautiful lake, and because of that, when summer came to a close, everything closed up with it. Picture a vibrant happening center turning into a barren ghost town overnight. With the cold weather, the sky went from beautiful blue to a dull, lifeless gray, and remained like that until spring. One of my housemates was also a weed dealer, which was convenient for me as I was a chronic stoner at the time. We would make these elaborate dinners where every course featured weed in the recipe. The results were full bellies, stoned minds, and huge messes to clean up. Our dinners quickly became a thing that other people from other houses wanted to get in on. So we would have guests over, and the rule was they had clean up after the meal. Somehow they didn't mind, and ours quickly became the house that everyone wanted to hang at. One really dark, cold, and windy night, we had 5 female guests from another school. I had a girlfriend at the time, so I behaved, but the rest of my housemates hooked up, and a good time was had by all. This was a weeknight, and when it came time to leave, their car wouldn't start. Naturally, they come knocking on my door as I was the only one with a car. It's around midnight now, and they live a good hour away, so I reluctantly agree to take them. My housemate James agrees to come with. There were no street lights, and it's dark and cold as fuck. Then it begins to snow. On a good day, we hardly knew where we were going around our own school, and this is in a totally different area. It was a tense white-knuckle ride the whole time, but eventually we got there. The house where they lived was a converted estate with a long driveway and huge iron gates. As I turn into the driveway, the snow really starts coming down. We can see 2 dull red lights off in the distance. As we get closer, we see that it's not a car, but an elaborate stagecoach lumbering through the snow. As we go to overtake it on the road, we all look over and see that it's a huge black stagecoach being pulled by a team of black horses. The red lights we saw were lanterns on its sides. The driver is also dressed in black, sitting pinned straight and looking straight ahead. He doesn't even glance at us. It's like we aren't there. Everyone in the car saw this. We asked the girls if this was a thing where they lived. They said no, they never saw anything like it before. At the time, we just thought it was very strange. Like, why would someone be out in a stagecoach after midnight in a snowstorm? I remember thinking, maybe this is just how they get down up in the country. It didn't occur to us right away that it could be anything else. After we dropped them off at the house, we turned around to leave, both fully expecting to see that stagecoach again, as their house was the only thing at the end of the driveway road. Instead, we saw nothing, no horses, no hoof prints, no other tracks but our own from coming the other way. At that point, it finally dawned on us both. No doubt a delayed reaction from dinner. James and I realized that we may have just seen not only a ghost, but ghost horses and a ghost stagecoach. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe, and we see you at next story. Leave a comment or a thumb up or down.